All glitters used in this tutorial are available on my website. Today I'm going to show you how I did this gingerbread tumbler. It's one of the ones that's been on my bucket list for a long time, so I'm going to show you how I did it. Hi everyone. This is a 30-ounce fatty from Hog, and it's already been sanded, but I realized that I hadn't ever shown how I prep my cups. So this is 220 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going in a circular motion up and down the cup, taking special care around the top and the bottom. And then once that is all done, then I wipe it down with some alcohol and a microfiber cloth. And now it's ready for the base coat. So the first color I'm going to use is Rust-Oleum 2X Satin Espresso, and I'm going to spray the whole cup that color. And then I'm going to spray the top 2 inches and the bottom about 1 inch at the bottom white, and those are for our snowy areas. So as you can see, my spray paint crackled, and I'm just going to make it work. You can use some acetone and rub it all away and start over. You can respray it, but there could be reasons why you're not able to correct this mistake, so I'm just going to work with it. I'm using the epoxy method, and this is a chocolatey brown holographic glitter. It's pronounced Kona, and this is going to be the house part of the cup. So yes, I could have fixed the crackle, but as I said, there could be any number of reasons why you might not be able to fix it. Maybe you ran out of spray paint and you need to get the cup done. Maybe you don't have any acetone or alcohol. Or maybe you just don't feel like fixing it. This cup is not a custom order. I'm doing it for the tutorial. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to try and make it work. See what we can do with it. If it was a customer cup, then no, I would not send it out like that. It doesn't make the cup unsafe to use. The cup is perfectly fine to use, but it is going to need a little bit of makeup to cover up that blemish. So the next color I'm going to use is called Snow Daze, and it's a pearlescent white glitter. It doesn't have any flashy sparkle to it. It's more of a shimmer effect. But it's very pretty. I actually ordered it by mistake when I first started selling glitter. I thought I had actually made a mistake by ordering it, but I came to find out that pearls are actually really well liked by a lot of people. So now I try to order pearls every time I order a shipment. I probably have 7 or 8 pearls in stock right now. They are very pretty. So the white glitter is not going to cover the boo-boo completely. So now I will have to strategically place my decals to cover them up as much as I can. And some might think it's lazy that I didn't fix the cup for the tutorial, and that's fine, but I just want people to know who are just starting out that it's not always going to go perfect, and sometimes you have to make it work. There's no way to fix it, and you just have to make it work. I mean, there's always a way to fix it, but if you don't have what you need to be able to fix it, then you have to make it work. So as I said, the Snow Daze doesn't have any flashy sparkle to it, but after I got it on there, I decided that I wanted it to have just a little bit of sparkle. So I am sprinkling Nevaeh over it. It has a really pretty, almost like a peach colored sparkle. Some would say it's gold. I see it more of a peachy colored sparkle, and it has a slightly bluish tint when you look at it. It's very pretty though. So while that is curing, I'm going to work on my shingles. These are just mermaid scales that I'm using. You can find them on Etsy. You can find them on Google. So I'm going to be making some in red and green. I'm putting a light layer of Mod Podge over them, and now I'm just going to cover them in glitter. You want to kind of work as fast as you can because you want to do all of this before your Mod Podge dries. This glitter is the same glitter that I used for the Argyle tutorial, Red Velvet. I think it's perfect for Christmas cups. So once you have it covered in glitter, then you're going to tap off the excess glitter, and then you're going to weed it. And you want to try and do all of this before your Mod Podge dries. I've never really had a big use for like the glitter vinyl, but when I don't use it very often, so when I need it, I just make it myself. I've also done it with Loctite, but I find that using the Loctite works better when it's one image, like, not an image, but it's like one decal, like a name. I think it's better for something like that rather than something like this that has a lot of different pieces. Because doing it the Loctite way, you're going to mirror your image and cut it out. So you're going to put it backwards, cut it out backwards on your vinyl. Then you're going to spray it with the Loctite. Then you weed it, and then you put the Loctite side on your cup, and that's what sticks it to your cup. And then the sticky underside of the vinyl, that's what you're going to use to hold your glitter. So that's why I think it's better for things like names, just one piece kind of decals. I did lose a few, but that's okay, I still have plenty left. And I didn't waste a lot of glitter. And now it's time for our green shingles. And this is Field of Dreams, the same one I used in the Argyle. Then you want to tap, tap, tap off the excess. It may seem like a pain, but I think it's really cool to realize that you can glitter your own vinyl. If there's a specific color that you need, you can custom make it to fit whatever design you're working with. So now that we have these both done, they need to be sealed. I sealed it once, and now I have my vinyl cutouts that I'm going to be using to lay my water slides down, like I did on the Argyle cup. And to get the cutout, I just opened my image in Design Space. I used the square shape, put it behind my image, clicked on the slice button, and that gave me a cutout of my image, and I still had the color image to print out on water slide. I don't have a clip of me doing that because I cannot put Design Space on my laptop. I'm not able to do that, but if you need a quick tutorial on how to do that, just leave a comment and I will figure out a way to get that out for you. So when I showed you, when I was pointing at those little candies a few seconds ago, those are what I'm going to use around the bottom of the cup to hide that crackling. And I could have used white water slide, but I mean, let's face it, white water slide does not get along with everybody. It's very hard to make friends with white water slide. And clear water slide would have showed up on the white areas, but on the brown areas it wouldn't have been as vibrant, and I probably would have had to put I would have had to over layer water slides. So doing it this way, I'm able to use the clear water slide. And you can design your house however you want. You can, if you use this file, you can do it the way I did it, or do it completely different. It's totally up to you. So these shingles, as I said, they were sealed once, but it was a good coat of clear spray that I put over it. Since they were laying flat, I wasn't worried about the clear spray running or dripping, so I did a nice thick coat of clear spray. So just make sure that you leave a small gap between the top of your cup and your decal, just to make sure that you get a good proper seal for your epoxy. And I'm going to be alternating between the red and the green, but you can do your color, you can do your roof however you want to do it. You can make it more random. You can do it in a pattern like I'm going to do. You can add in some little extra pops of color in there to represent like little gumdrops. I mean, just use your imagination. You can do it however you want to do it. I think what stopped me from doing this cup was because for the longest time it intimidated me. But once you actually do the cup, you'll see that there's really, there's really nothing to it. It's a bunch of techniques that you already know put together in one cup. So I think we just get in our heads sometimes and we let it intimidate us. But like I like to say, it's just a cup. So for this first row, I did have to do a little bit of adjusting there towards the end to get them to all fit on there. But once I got that first row spaced the way I wanted it, all the rows after that went on perfectly fine. I didn't have any issues with spacing. And you basically want to lay your individual pieces the way they're laying on the backing paper. You want to leave a little gap between each one. So I'm starting with the color that I did last on the previous row, and I'm dropping it down and over to the right, and that will give me a red stripe, a red diagonal stripe, and the green diagonal stripes. So I'm doing mine in a diagonal pattern when it's all done, but like I said, you can do it however you want to do it. I even went back after I had finished the cup and thought I should have put some of those shingles, I should have made some of them white so it looked like little splotches of snow on the roof, but that'll be for next time. So this part is time consuming, your hand placing each one, so we're just going to fast forward through the rest, put on some background music or hum to yourself. I'm done with adding music to my tutorials. It's too much of a hassle. I also think I should have stopped at that last layer of shingles, but it is what it is. The cup came out, the cup is cute, but there are a few little tweaks that I would make the next time I did it. I would leave that white strip of quote-unquote snow at the bottom of the shingles rather than covering it up. And that last shingle did overlap onto my circle of vinyl, so I did have to move that down a little bit. And I will be doing another gingerbread house soon because I still have plenty of shingles left. So now I'm just gonna, I'm going to seal my shingles now. They have one coat of clear spray on them, but now I'm going to put a couple of coats of CCDIY quick coat over them, and that's just to make sure that they stay in place when I'm putting my epoxy on. So I'll put that first one on, I'll let it dry, and then we'll do the second one. And I usually work on my cups late at night, so I probably, after I did this second coat, I probably let it sit overnight before I moved on to the epoxy layer. And make sure you wash your brush as soon as you get done using it. So I believe this is 25 mLs of epoxy. I wanted to make sure that I had a smooth surface for my water slides. So I put it on pretty thick to make sure that that vinyl was completely covered and the cup was level and smooth. So I didn't show this part because I messed up and I had to pull them all off. If you look around the Christmas tree right there, you'll see the outline of the water slide paper, and that's because I did not, and right around the candy cane, that's because I did not put it on properly. I was in a hurry. I was trying to rush through it, and I didn't take my time and do what I needed to do. So I went ahead and I put the epoxy over it, hoping that it would disappear under the epoxy, but it did not. You can still see it. So as soon as I got done, as soon as I turned the camera off, I took my weeding tool and I peeled them all up. And right here I'm just using my silicone brush just to scrape off any little bits and pieces that might have broken off when I was trying to take them off. Since they were not on there properly, I didn't take the time to get all the air out, so there was air bubbles underneath them and they pulled up very easily. So I did have to put another coat of epoxy, I think like 15 mLs of epoxy, sanded it to smooth it out, and then I sprayed it with a triple thick to cover the dullness from the sanding. And now I'm going to reapply my water slides, and as you can see, I have them trimmed closer to the image. There's no sharp edges, everything is rounded off, and they turned out much better. So just make sure that you're taking your time and not skipping any steps. So you want to wet the area that your water slide is going to go. Get your water slide on there, get it positioned to where you want it, and then you need to take a squeegee, or I use the silicone makeup brush, and make sure you push out any air bubbles, push out any excess water. If there's any air bubbles that you cannot get out with the squeegee, then take a needle, a straight pin, a safety pin, and pop that bubble and push all the air out. And I think trimming it closer to the image helps to get those air bubbles out. So trim it as close as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure that it's attached to the cup and squeegeed and no air bubbles. So now I'm just going to get the rest of these images on and let it dry for a little while, and then we'll be ready for epoxy. Sometimes we just get so excited because we want to see the end result. We just get so excited and we rush and we skip steps, and yeah. let's not do that. So now you can't see any outlines. Nothing there. So once I get epoxy over it, you're not even going to be able to tell. So while the water slides were drying, I decided that I wanted to add a little extra. And this is my second attempt because I realized the first time that I was not recording. So I had to wipe it off and start all over. So this is 10 mLs of epoxy. I added some CCDIY Armor Art White. And then I thicken it up with the nice and thick. Now, as I said, this is the second try, so this was really super thick, and I actually like how thick it was because it didn't start running down the cup. I didn't want it to look like drips. I wanted it to look like icicles. So once I got it on the cup, I just dragged it down with my popsicle stick, and that gave it more of that pointy icicle look rather than the rounded drippy look. So it almost looked like frosting icicles. So I was very happy with how I thought that just completed the whole cup right there. So now I'm going to let the icicles dry overnight, and then it'll be time for epoxy. So you see the close-up of the tree. You can't see the outline of the water slide. That's perfect. I added a little bit of Nevaeh into my epoxy just to give my frosting icicles a little bit of sparkle, and to give my water slide decals, just look at them sparkling. Sparkle, sparkle. Look at the door, just sparkle, sparkle. And then here is the finished product. This was a really fun cup to make. I did make a couple of mistakes, but I was able to fix them, and I love the way it turned out. Bye everyone.